Is there one family business that sticks out in your mind that's the most successful, most profitable over the years?
Gosh, that I've worked with? The success of each family business is unique to their situation. A success can be defined as a family business where the father was really trying to get it to go to the next generation, but the next generation really wasn't prepared for it. And the selling of that business was the right and good and helpful decision. And they weren't going to be able to get there on their own because they were too intertwined with their own thinking, and they were just going to ride this thing all the way down the hill. That's a good decision, and I'm happy about having helped them do that because that was the right decision for them. Some kids need to leave the business. They don't need to be here. They're dragging it down. The parents really want them to be here. They want to be here, but they're just not a good fit. Every time that I have encountered a situation where it seemed obvious that that next generation, one of the next generation children was not a fit, and they left the business, they went on to do something that made them much happier, that they were passionate about, and had a much more successful, happy life going off in a different direction. There are some, we've had some that started, there was one in particular that I love. It was going to the next generation was ready, but then we kind of had the heart-to-heart and said, look, this is a hard business, and you're going to have to work 7 days a week, and there's not a lot of money in it because the industry is just not that type of industry anymore. You'll have a great life, you'll be able to have a lot of money, but it's going to be a lot of work. You can work less than your father did because he was kind of a workaholic, but that's the nature of this business. Do you want to do that? And the answer was, you know, I'm not sure that I do. And I said, well, there's another alternative. Maybe we can look at developing some ancillary businesses that will be more profitable. What would you think about that? He's like, I'm all for that. The problem was dealing with Dad because Dad was very good at the core business.
Right.
We worked with the son. We found another business that we could use as an adjunct to the current business, and now it is growing. The son has developed so much expertise in creating this business, and now it's growing beyond the size of the core business.
That's
a huge success.
That's wonderful.
Huge success.
Where do you think we are industry-wise, especially here in the United States, as far as entrepreneurship? Which of this is really family businesses or entrepreneurship?
They are, and you know, while some over 80% of the businesses in the United States are family-owned, run, and managed, entrepreneurship on the whole is actually kind of down.
Really?
The number of new businesses getting started, and I had a long conversation with a lady at the Wall Street Journal who's wrote an article about this, that if you look at the statistics, the number of new businesses that are getting started and continue going forward is actually on the decline.
Is it because of money and financing?
I think there's a myriad of different reasons for it, but I think the biggest reason, in my opinion, is this. The corporations are good, they're not inherently evil, and I don't want to sound like that. But corporations that do well and have done well, there is now momentum and government support and you know, things that help them do this. When you start a business, it's very easy to get snapped up by another business. And so you get it started, and somebody will grab it. It's very easy to say, "Hey, I've got a business that's grown to, you know, 30 million in sales." Gosh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a business that started from nothing. But it's also very easy to go to the competitor that's doing 150 or 500 million in revenue and say, "Would you like to buy my little business?" And I'm going to take that money, and now I can go do something else. I think it's very easy in our country these days for other companies to buy these smaller companies, and I think that's a big piece of it.
Where's the growth? In what sector do you see the most growth?
You know, obviously, the biggest growth area is in the services industry. That's where the American economy is the strongest. That's where we have the lead. That's where we're very good. Although I do have to kind of step outside of the box. I grew up in an era, and we grew up in an era where American manufacturing existed and went on. All of that's gone offshore now. The manufacturing base in the United States has gotten extremely small. The interesting thing is that I think it's actually starting to really come back.
It is.
And it's not, philosophically, it won't work just philosophically. Philosophy's not going to do it. What's going to do it is economics. And part of the economics here is, frankly, that China, most of it has gone offshore to China. The labor rates in China are starting to come up at parity. And so I can go have something built in China for a little bit less labor rate, but I still have to ship it back to the United States, and that costs money.
And that's what people are really not thrilled about anymore, is the weight.
Right.
Especially if you're selling to someone like Target or Walmart or whatever.
Right.
They want it at a certain time.
Exactly.
And if you can't fulfill it, they'll go somewhere else.
Exactly. And there's a great deal of automation that's going on that's reducing the impact of labor on the cost of manufacturing. And so I believe that in the next couple of decades, we're going to see a lot more production happening in the United States, A, because labor rates are at parity, and B, because of technology being able to manufacture 3D printing, so on and so forth.
It's unbelievable.
Why go 3D printing in China when you can 3D print in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Right, and it was funny because I worked for a client that, and someday I'll have to show you my invention, but I came up with a knife block that nobody else has.
Huh.
That has magnets in it, that you can clean.
Interesting.
That you can see. And nobody else thought about it. And I thought to myself, you know, here's a company that's right here in the region. They have offices here, they have manufacturing here, and they have manufacturing in Mexico. Why would I want to go to China when I can have it done right here?
Right.
Or in Mexico?
Absolutely.
And they have people right in Mexico that are part of the company.
Right.
And so they can watch the quality control of it.
Right.
So to me, it's funny because I love Shark Tank, because the people they turn down are the ones I call.
Interesting.
Because I may see a product that I know that can be sold or that can be bought, but maybe the sharks don't think it is, or think it, you know. And so I do that all the time, and I think if they've got an idea that's so, they really care about it, they really want to do it, but they just can't find the financing or they can't find whatever, why not give them a chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
And see how it rolls.
Absolutely.
You know?
On that point, I say it right at the preface of my book that with the advent of technology the way it is today, there's a theory out there that says the population of the United States and the population of the world is such that we don't need all of these people to produce all of the things that we need to have in order to live as a society. And what that means is, that's great that you've got your PhD in chemistry, but we have thousands of PhDs in chemistry, and we just simply don't need them all. So it's going to be very hard in the future to find jobs, even though you may be qualified, simply because there may be too many people around, because technology is producing a lot of what we need. They're saying that in the future, you're going to go to McDonald's, there's not going to be anybody there. You're just going to punch into an ATM, tell them what you want, swipe your card. Machines will make your hamburger and french fries and so on and so forth, and it'll come out the other end. Nobody's needed at McDonald's? It's kind of hard to believe. My point in the book, if you have a family business and it's viable and it's got a good future, you should do everything you can to try to keep it in your control, because this is a wonderful asset to have. It's a goose that lays the golden eggs. You can kill the goose and get all the eggs at once, but wouldn't you rather keep it for the next generation or for multiple generations?